seasoned HR leader with a strong track record of driving transformative people strategies that align with business goals. As the acting head of HR and general manager HR business partner at Engro Fertilizers, she plays a key role in shaping organizational development, enhancing talent engagement, and optimizing workforce planning. Her DEI strategy resulted in a remarkable increase in gender diversity in technical roles from 3% in 2020 to 13% by 2024. Wow, that's interesting. Earning her, obviously, national recognition from the President of Pakistan. She also spearheaded EPCL's strategic workforce plan for Vision 2030 and introduced key engagement programs, including the company's first recognition framework and an in-house trainer development program. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Gulzareen Khan, who is going to talk about Engro Fertilizers' DEI journey. थोड़ी तालियां जोर से बजा लें. Wake up, guys.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम जी. जितनी इन्होंने तारीफ़ें की हैं मुझे लग रहा था किसी और के बारे में बात हो रही है, मेरे बारे में नहीं हो रही. Thank you so much. And it is very interesting that the examples which she quoted are from Engro Polymers, whereas I'm very proudly representing Engro Fertilizers here today. And that is because of my recent transition into this new role at Engro Fertilizers. So talking about our DE&I journey at Engro Fertilizers, I would take a step back and start with our name, which is Engro. Does anybody know what Engro means? Anybody? Any guesses? Enabling growth, right? So Engro stands for enabling growth. And when we talk about enabling growth, we don't just mean growth of the businesses that we are working in. In fact, we mean the growth of people who come along with us in this journey. And these are not necessarily our employees only. These are people from the communities that we work with. These are our suppliers. These are the countries that we are working with. So to start off, I have divided these conversations into 3 buckets. One is diversity, second is equity, and the third one is inclusion. And I'd start by talking about how at Engro we're not just looking at one intersection of diversity, although I do understand that this award is for gender diversity more, but as the name says, it is Global DEIB Awards, which means that it's not just one form of diversity. In fact, it includes all types of diverse other that we work with. So starting off, I would like to thank Binish Kajani, who was the GMHR business partner before me at Engro Fertilizers, and also Saad Khan, who was the head of HR for the 9 months, for the entire year, in fact, the last year that we were able to get this award for. So a lot of applause for both of them. If you can please put your hands together. Thank you so much. So you see, it's not just one story which has brought us here. It's multiple smaller stories that have brought us where we are. Be it the woman who was given a second chance to nail a career at corporate. Be it a senior citizen who thought that their skills are no more relevant in the corporate world. Or be it the Down syndrome kid who was able to land a permanent role in another organization after working with us as an intern. So coming to the first slide, which is on diversity. Yeah, we're on the right slide. Natasha? Yeah, thank you so much. So I'd start about talking about a program which is very near and dear to our hearts. That is the Pravas program. When we realize that the gap between genders is widening in the roles which are traditionally pegged as male-dominated roles, we launched this program to introduce more women in these non-traditional and very technical roles. We have rebranded this program as Unstoppable this year, and I'm very happy to report that under this banner, we have been able to increase our diversity of new hires up to 40%. So the program has worked really well for us. The second thing that I would want to talk about under the bucket of diversity, excuse me, is the reverse mentorship program that we launched. Now, we all understand that corporates are going through a historical time in terms of the generations that we are working with, right? So we all have Gen X's, we have Gen Y's, and we have Gen Z's, whom quite a few of us are afraid of as well, right? Isn't it so? Yes? Sometimes I say that Gen Z are the new women in corporate. So we're really scared of bringing them on board. And very soon, Gen Alpha is going to come into the corporate world as well through internships and all. So realizing this, that 22% of our workforce is Gen Z, 65% is millennials, and 13% is Gen X. Now, what a wonderful combination. And the interesting thing to note over here is that it is still Gen X and Gen Y which are in the decision-making positions. So it is very important for them to understand the perspective of these 22% who are not on the senior positions right now, but have a voice. So in order to make sure that their voice is heard, we started this program of reverse mentoring, whereby we paired our young interns with some of the senior professionals within the organization. How did this program help us? It definitely gave the senior leaders an insight into the latest digital trends and the changing customer demands, right? And it also, on the other hand, gave Gen Zs some strategic insights into how businesses are grown and then developed. So the program worked really well for us. It was a win-win for the younger population as well as for the senior population. The third one that I would like to talk about is the Senior Citizen Internship Program that we launched, and we're really proud of that one as well. As the life expectancy is increasing, right, we are now living longer lives and healthier while our retirement age is still 60. At the most, people can get a contract renewal of 1 or 2 years post their retirement, and that's it. Then they are told that your skills are no more relevant for us. But they're going to live maybe another 20 years. Recognizing this, we started this program whereby we want the organization to give a hope and sense of purpose to these senior citizens as well, that they are still very, very relevant and their skill sets are very, very valid even now. How will it help us? Obviously, it will help us gain from the long years of experience that they have gained over a period of years and would give us that kind of wisdom to work in our businesses as well. And I'm very proud to report that tomorrow, 2 of our senior citizens are going to join us for this internship journey with us. The third one that I would like to talk about, yes, please. Thank you so much. The appreciation means a lot to us. The fourth one in this bucket is our partnership with P&G. Now, whenever we talk about diversity, just like any other program, the program has to be green. And when we say green, it means the program has to be sustainable. It cannot be a one-time intervention, and somebody referred to it as a one-time intervention in US as well, and how the programs are now being rolled back, where the organizations were just meeting targets because there was a law enforcement agency asking them to meet the targets. Realizing this, we understand that it has to work like a blockchain. So every cog in this machine has to have diversity present in it for the entire system to have a diverse population. So to do that, as I said, we also understand that if we work only on our own, we can go only to a certain distance, we have to bring in more partners on board. Therefore, we went into the partnership with P&G, where we did a 3-day-long workshop with women entrepreneurs. And in these 3-day workshops, they were trained by internal and external trainers, plus industry gurus who came in and taught them the ins and the outs of business world. What was the end product? At the end of these 3 days, these women entrepreneurs were able to present their pitch to a jury. The jury obviously consisted of leaders from P&G, leaders from Agro Fertilizers. It also had the CEO of TCS, and there's a third organization, the Catalyst Labs, right? And as a result of it, what we did at Agro Fertilizer was that some of these women-owned businesses became a part of our vendors list, which is a very difficult thing to happen. Moving on from here, I'll talk about the second bucket, which is equity. In equity, I talk about 2 primary programs. Number 1 is Break Ke Baad, which is our returnship program. We launched this program a couple of years ago. It has been nothing short of a phenomenal experience for us, because what we have been able to capitalize on is this whole set of population who've got honed on it amazing skills when they were part of the workforce, but now due to one reason or another, they had to step out, but now are ready to come back. What do we give them? We give them a soft landing to come back into the corporate world, to re-polish, refurbish the skills that they had gained already in their experiences and utilize them, and maybe then land on permanent roles with Engro or maybe any other organization for that matter. In the last year, we brought on 14 BKB associates who are working in multiple segments within the organization. That is marketing, supply chain, audit, HR, you name it, and they'd be there. The program has been so successful for us that now we are thinking of not just keeping it as an annual venture. In fact, whenever and wherever we have a need for a project resource to come on board, the first pool that we are going to look through is this pool that we have gained through the Break Ke Baad program. The second intervention that I would discuss here is a partnership with SERB. Now, how has this partnership helped us? Through this partnership, we have adopted one of the United Nations Development Goal, which is number 5, that is gender equity. And we have held a great 2-day-long workshop where we called in industry gurus and we called in people from multiple industries, multiple organizations to become a part of this conversation so that we can push forward the narrative of gender equity across multiple organizations. We can share our lessons, we can share our learnings, we can share what worked for us, what did not work for us, and what is the look ahead for us through this workshop. It has worked really well for us, and the name of the workshop, most of you would probably know, was the Building Blocks for Successful Gender Strategies. Coming up now is the third bucket, which is inclusion. So I had to step out between the time that I received the award, we received the award, and now when I had the speaker slot, because we had our business development day for the organization. And it was opened obviously by the senior leaders. And one thing which I brought from there for today's conversation is inclusion. So our purpose is, as a group, to solve the most pressing issues of the communities and the countries that we work with. And one of the issue is inclusion. We've talked about since morning. I was listening to Dr. Ishrat Hussain as well when he was sharing how Bangladesh looked at, including micro entrepreneurs who are female in the journey and to help them grow as well. We did a lot of work on inclusion. I would want to talk about two interventions again. One is the Khudi Associate Program, through which we have brought in people with different abilities on board. And I would just like to share one line which one of our Khudi associates said to us, and it really struck to my heart. He said that, please, when you're looking at us, don't just think about what we cannot do. Think about what we can do. And I think that was a pivotal moment for me, and it changed and gave me a lot of perspective. So under this, we have brought in 6 people on 1-year traineeship program to help them land into permanent roles and become corporate citizens as well. The second one is our partnership with Karachi Down Syndrome program, whereby we inducted interns and we helped them polish their skills. And as I mentioned in the beginning of my talk, that we were very proud that one of them has been able to land a permanent role. To conclude the entire conversation, because I've been told that I'm running a little over time, to conclude the entire conversation, we all understand that it is not, nobody has a magic wand, right? There is no formula, no mumbo jumbo, which we'll do and boom, the next day the organization is a complete reflection of the society or the demographics outside of the, of the organization, because 50 to 52% are women, 10% are people with different abilities, roughly. Is it the same inside the organization? No. Will we be able to do it the next year? No. What we aim to do is to take slow, deliberate, and consistent steps in order to ensure that we reach where we are supposed to be. Thank you so much, people, for being such great listeners. I'm open to questions now. I'd be happy to answer questions if you have any. Yes, I can.
So, like the idea of the senior citizen internship program, where did that come from? What's the goal out of it?
Okay. So, as I was just mentioning that I've come from BD Day, we also understand that a lot of attrition is happening in Pakistan, right? Younger kids, younger professionals are moving like anything to Middle East or to the greener areas where there's low tax, high income. By virtue of that, we as an organization had also lost a lot of experience, one. And two, we saw it regularly that there were some very experienced resources with us, and we would have to continue to update their contracts every year. So the board asked us that, how are we going to make this a more sustainable thing where you can have experienced people with you, which can help you look into new businesses as well as bring in the right, strategic insights as well, where you can be not risk averse, but more cautious of the risk which can lie therein. So from there, the idea started that we can start off with an internship program and then see how it pans out for us, and then maybe change it into a regular feature within the organization. So yeah, hope I have answered your question. Any other questions? I know this is post-lunch session. Most of you are now a little drowsy. That's okay. So if there's no further question, thank you so much for being amazing audience and listening to our stories. Oh, there is a question. I always like it when there are questions.
Hello, Zareen. This is Tanya.
Hi.
I would like to ask how difficult it was to have the management buy-in on BKB. Was it difficult, or it was a smooth journey?
So I think such interventions do not have a long life if there's no buy-in from the senior management side. I think where we have been really lucky is that the boards are extremely supportive of all of our interventions in terms of supporting gender diversity. So it was not a very difficult sell. We just had to go in with the right value prop. And the value prop is that there's a whole segment of people who have gained amazing experiences, and now they want to come back, but they don't have the right door to enter in. And we as Engro, looking at our core values and core purpose, which is to support, help the country solve the most pressing issues. This is one of the pressing issues. So the board was completely supportive.
Have you offered any flexible timings to these ladies?
Oh yes, flexi timing is a big part of how we operate at Engro. Definitely on sites, because the people who are in the shifts, you have to stick to a timing. Otherwise, we are very flexible. There are no attendance machines in our offices. So that should tell you a lot about how flexible we are. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Zahid, for giving us this opportunity, for really taking this agenda of diversity throughout the country and rallying such great support. I think a huge round of applause to Zahid.